Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds. Ooh.
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 Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone's.
My name is David Bell.
And my name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Lucky Number Slevin.
Lucky
like
numbers,
7.
Slevin.
Yeah, it's like 7.
Only not with a Slevin.
Classic film.
Boss wants to see you. Who's the boss? The guy we work for.
I'm not the guy you're looking for. I don't live here.
Yeah, well, you look like the guy that lives here.
Then you don't know what the guy that lives here looks like.
What he means to say is you look like you live here.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say.
Sorry. What happened to your nose?
It's a very long story.
I think it's time you told me that story.
Well, there's this guy and they call him the boss. I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm the boss.
They picked up the wrong guy.
Wrong guy for what?
Whatever it is you want to see me about.
Do you know what I want to see you about?
No.
Then how do you know I have the wrong guy?
And then right across the street lives this man they call the rabbi.
Why do they call him the rabbi?
Because he's a rabbi.
1998's gripping comedic crime thriller Lucky Number Slevin.
Oh, okay. All right, well, first of all, sorry, I have something to say about your description. It's one of those... Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank Ozzy. This is brought to you from our Patreon. Ozzy, thank you so much.
Thank you,
for making us watch this movie, for your support, for everything you do, whatever that may be. I don't know what you do in real life. You might be a professional killer.
Maybe.
And I guess
how would we know? How would we ever know?
And I thank you for that. For murder, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry. So, when was this made?
1998.
Yeah, that checks out.
Oh, no, wait. That's wrong.
No, that can't be.
That's wrong.
This feels like 2000. This feels
2006,
like...
yeah.
Okay,
I don't know why I was stuck on 1998.
I don't know. This felt like it could have been either a 1999 or a 2005er. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is 2006. My mistake. I was way off.
This has... I don't think many people have seen this. This won like a film festival when it came out. I saw this a long time ago, apparently around 2006, which is depressingly a long time ago.
Yeah, that's 14 years ago.
Yeah, and so I didn't really remember it watching it. You've never seen it?
No.
Before? Okay.
No, I'd never seen it. This was after... This was like well into like Bruce Willis's shitty movie career.
Yes.
And like, Josh Hartnett hadn't been anything for a while.
And then it had...
why the fuck do I want to watch this movie?
Right, and it has such no names as fucking Morgan Freeman and Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley, Stanley Tucci,
Lucy Liu,
Michael T. Williamson. Mm-hmm. Again wearing a face full of fake teeth. Although actually I don't think he was... in Forrest Gump, I actually don't think he was wearing fake teeth. I think he was doing that himself.
Yes, he's wearing fake teeth.
It is embarrassing.
Yeah. So you mentioned comedy, which surprised me, and it makes sense now that I think back at the film.
I understand why it surprises you, because the movie is not funny, although it believes itself to be. Okay, so
I didn't ask you how'd you like this movie.
I think this movie... this is like an insufferable teenager trying to write a Guy Ritchie movie.
Oh, I was thinking Tarantino. This feels fresh out of film school.
I feel like it's both. The first half of the movie is filled with some of the most grating dialogue you'll ever hear, and it's a person mistaking wit for characters that constantly repeat each other.
Yes,
and make them repeat things.
This movie thinks it's very smart.
This movie thinks it's very clever.
It feels like the most expensive final project in film school. Like someone made it in film school. Their dad was like a billionaire, and so they got all these actors in it.
Yeah.
I don't think this is weird. Like I don't think it's the worst movie.
The second part of what I was saying was, I said the first half is like the most insufferable Guy Ritchie Tarantino knockoff. I genuinely like the third act, like the resolution of the mystery.
Oh,
I enjoyed it. I thought it paid off.
Maybe this is because I saw it before and subconsciously knew, but I really saw it coming.
Oh, I anticipated parts of it. I just couldn't see.
Oh, okay.
Like, the movie had me interested enough that I wanted to see how everything came together.
Right.
But I mean, from the opening scene that Josh Hartnett's the little kid in the beginning.
Right.
It's just like, I just want to know what the fuck is going on and what's his game here. Yeah,
this is I think the issue with the film is that it's okay. It's an okay film, and that infuriates me because it has such a good cast, and it's shot in a very boring way. And I think what happened is someone fucking clacked out this script, looked at it, and said, oh, this is the next Usual Suspects. This is the next Pulp Fiction. No need to film this in an interesting way. We just got to put it all out there.
Though they try to do some stuff, but again, it's very film school. Yeah. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just like, here's some stuff that looks cute.
And it's not bad. It's just that it also has the problem of, I don't really know who the protagonist is because it withholds random things.
It withholds a lot, yeah.
In order for it to be a mystery, it has to just sort of like choose what scenes to show you with Josh Hartnett, who is not the protagonist. Because, or at least he doesn't feel like, you think he's the main character, but the movie has tricked you into being like, guess what? He's not really the main character. Spoil, like surprise twist, there really is no main character.
Not really.
You're seeing this from every perspective that we just want you to see it as.
Right, you see it from, and that's kind of the cheat of this film, is that I think the most glaring part is when you see Josh Hartnett coming back upstairs with coffee for Lucy Liu, and then it cuts to him being inside the apartment, and something's clearly bothering him,
right.
But we don't know what it is. And there's just kind of like a montage of them kissing some more, and then she goes away to work. Then at the end of the movie, they reveal that Bruce Willis, in between, they just cut this out, even though the movie has been telling us that it's from Josh Hartnett's perspective. It just cuts out the fact that Bruce Willis shows up and says, "Look, you got to kill her because she made me."
Right, because it ruins the twist.
Right.
Yeah, we should explain what the plot is because I don't think many people have seen it. It begins with Bruce Willis in a wheelchair at a bus station or an airport. I'm not sure. I'm guessing a bus station.
It's a very fancy bus station. It's extremely clean.
Yeah, I will say this: a great production design on this movie. I thought just the sets looked very good. And so he tells a story for no reason, just to set up exposition for the audience to a random guy at a bus station.
Yeah, he's just talking to us.
Yes, there's no reason for him to be explaining this to this guy. And he talks about a man who got a hot tip on the horses, horse stuff. It's a horse business.
Yeah, he got a tip that the fix was in.
Yeah.
Basically, the horses they were giving some horse steroids, and it was going to win the race.
And he bets it all on this horse. He goes into debt. He is murdered by thugs, as well as his wife and his little teeny child, who clearly isn't dead from the beginning. They show someone point a gun at the back of the kid's head, and then they show a splatter of blood on a wall, but it's not the wall where he was.
No, he's standing outside.
Yeah, and then it shows it spying on like a children's wall, and it's like, okay, clearly, Josh Hartnett is the child. It's immediately evident. I don't think you're not supposed to know it though. And then Bruce Willis tells this story and then kills the guy in the bus station. And then from there we do this this is the thing, is I kind of like this. The problem is I like the pre-twist better, which is that Josh Hartnett's having a real lousy day. And he goes to his friend's apartment. He runs into Lucy Liu, who's killing it with the lines she has. She's being very charming.
And she's also she's acting like she just took a bunch of Adderall.
Yes. Adderall and acid or something. Like, she feels like, Yeah, she's really fucking weird. But again, the dialogue, I have to point out this dialogue because here's the problem. It's real Tarantino.
The dialogue is awful.
But that's the thing about the dialogue is that the reason Tarantino pulls it off, I think, is that he still understands where characters are in the scene, and his dialogue kind of means something. Like later, Ben Kingsley is kidnapped, and we'll get to it, and he has the black cloth taken off of his head, and he immediately gives a monologue. That's the first thing he does from being kidnapped, and it's like, what are you doing? Why are you monologuing?
Yeah, what's happening here?
Nobody sounds like a person because they all sound like the screenwriter.
Right, everybody sounds the same because they're all trying to have cute, clever dialogue. It's extremely telling. The dialogue is also... There's a line that Ben Kingsley says that maybe this is something I've never heard of, but I really want to break this down, Tom. He says to Josh Hartnett, he says, "My father used to say, the first time someone calls you a horse, you punch them in the nose. The second time someone calls you a horse, you call him a jerk. But the third time someone calls you a horse, well, then perhaps it's time to go shopping for a saddle." Yeah.
What does that mean?
I forget the version of the saying that I've heard is like, man, I keep running into it's like somebody say, I forget, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like I keep running into assholes, and then it's however,
and then you're
right. It's like, well, maybe I'm the asshole.
Yeah, I get that, but who's being okay? So I just have some objections. First of all, everybody's calling this person a horse.
Right. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be like, I guess, an old world version of it because he mentions that his dad barely spoke English.
Okay.
So it's clearly just like if people keep telling you something and you're like, no, that's not it, but like people keep telling it to you.
I get that. I'm talking about the construction of the line, not the point of the line. Mm-hmm. As this is what I mean by like I didn't like the dialogue is just like, because first of all, when you punch him in the nose, when you first call them a jerk,
right? The escalation of it is strange.
Yes, and then why horse? Why is someone calling you a horse, and you're taking it as an insult? Like it should have. Like I get the idea. Yeah, horse is like fool or something like that. It's just a very weird and clunky line.
It is,
and that it kind of sums up the dialogue for me, which is that. It's there's a lot of like, what the fuck are these people saying? The worst part of the dialogue is that characters are constantly repeating each other because and the screenwriter has mistaken this for rapport. Yes. Like somebody will say, "We're inside." Yeah, we're inside. Why are we inside? Because we're inside. Well, why did you put me inside? Because I'm the one that put you inside. Like that is not far from what a lot of these exchanges are like. Yeah, and it's coming out of like Bruce Willis's mouth.
He doesn't do it as much, but it's mostly like Josh Hartnett, Lucy Liu, Morgan Freeman, and
Ben Kingsley.
And the only reason
doing a great voice.
Oh yeah, he's killing it. I mean, the only reason Brillis doesn't do it much is because he doesn't say much in this movie.
Yeah, but he still has some like it opens with him going, "There was a time," and then not explaining it.
Oh, his whole opening thing is crazy.
It's real. Like I remember. I don't want to get specific, but like when I went to film school, you see movies like this. Like everybody would do a movie where it would be a guy walks into a diner and the other guy, the guy's sits down and he's like, "Man, rough day," and the other guy's like, "Well, tell me about it, man." And then they go into a monologue and it goes into a sequence and then it comes back out and it's bookended with like person telling a story, but the person telling the story either doesn't go anywhere. Or like this has a like, "and I've come to kill you" moment, and it's like they think they're so fucking clever. Mm-hmm. Where like we're gonna bookend this with someone telling a story for no reason, and then it like it's just so basic. And then that plus the dialogue being so
bad.
The problem is like just make them talk like people so I can empathize with them.
Well, yeah, that's what's weird about it is that it drops this shit. Like as soon as the second twist, I guess, happens, as soon as they reveal that Josh Hartnett is actually a murderer working with Bruce Willis, and they're kind of playing both these guys against each other. From that moment on, it drops that tone.
Yeah, it's like someone else took over the movie.
And it's like, then why did you... And like the movie, for the rest of the movie, it's very serious.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why didn't you just do it? Like, I would have liked this movie markedly more if it had if it had just had the tone of the second half. If it just played it like a straight... Like, Josh Hartnett's not trying to be like cute and witty and funny every time he's talking to people in the first half.
Here's, I think, the issue is that this is why it infuriated me that it was okay. Is what I mean by that is, like, the plot is, you can see the twist coming. The plot is pretty. It's not it's not that complicated. It's not The Usual Suspects. It's not Pulp Fiction. I think it wants to be. So the like garnish that they put on the film was fun talking, was cool dialogue. That's what they thought would get us through this plot.
No,
but
you
what should have it should have been like Crank. Like they should have done something crazy.
I don't know. I think you could have done it.
Or it should have been shot better.
Right. I think you could have done it more in like the first part more in earnest, like more, because we never make us think of better movies in your mediocre movie, but like they bring up North by Northwest. Like, you play the first part of this movie not with like Josh Hartnett being a smartass who seems to be like smugly amused with the fact that he's being forced to assassinate somebody.
Yeah. And
play it like that. Play it like North by Northwest, or like Enemy of the State, or like something where like
had.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, play it straight, and instead of trying to be quirky and funny, have it be this guy who's panicking and who's in like this desperate no-win situation, and then it kind of makes his connection with Lucy Liu makes more sense because she just sort of fangirls out on him for no real reason, and then they're just like together. It's like,
we should explain the plot more. Yeah,
we should explain the plot more.
She does. She is baffling.
Yeah, she's totally baffling.
I don't know why she does anything she does.
Because the screenwriter wanted her to.
Yeah. She's not a human.
No.
They also try to make the movie sometimes noir. Like, it felt very ADD, which is one of those things that bugs me about Tarantino a lot, where he'll like change his tone in the movie because he saw some other movies. But Tarantino gets away with it. Most people like him. He's a good director. He's a good writer. Whereas this, it's just like, it felt like sometimes they were like, oh, right, we're in noir. Let's do a noir shot. Or let's do this. And then other times they're like, we're like a quirky comedy. We're like a Tarantino thing. We're like The Usual Suspects. Like, it was just like, you got to pick a tone. And they didn't pick the right tone, I don't think.
No.
But we should explain the plot. So Josh Hartnett gets mugged. He's having a bad day. His girlfriend cheated on him. And he goes to his friend's house, takes a shower, and Lucy Liu busts in to borrow a cup of sugar, and they proceed to have witty dialogue about everything, and she's like, wants to solve the missing friend, even though he's not really missing.
Not really missing. He's just not there at the moment.
Yeah, they try to make her real quirky, so that the things she do make sense, but they don't. They never make sense. She starts like investigating him not being there that moment. And they have a sequence, then he gets kidnapped by Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, by Morgan Freeman's goons.
Yeah, who says like, you owe me money. I want you to, instead of paying off this money. And like, he got his wallet stolen, so he can't prove his identity, which is a cool idea, I guess. It did make them seem incompetent, like the villains, for not... Oh, wait, never mind. I know why they did this, though. Because Bruce Willis... Well, no, they are going after the other guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's weird they don't know who he is, but
Why
whatever.
would they?
Yeah, that's true.
They're at the top of the empire.
They just see his name.
They went after a guy that just through their loan sharking arm of their empire owes them a lot of money. They wouldn't know the guy by sight. That's not unbelievable.
And he gets thrown into this thing where they're like, "You're the guy. We want you to kill. I want you to kill the son of my rival Ben Kingsley, who lives across the street from me." And then Morgan Freeman's talking to Bruce Willis, who's like like we saw him at the beginning. He seems to be some mysterious assassin. Did you know? Because I pretty quickly knew that he was working with Bruce Willis.
Not immediately.
Oh, okay. No, I guess not immediately, but it became clear. And then Ben Kingsley kidnaps Josh Hartnett. What does he want? He says, you owe me money. Mm-hmm. Is that it? He's just...
I think so.
And then he's also talking to Bruce Willis, who's playing both sides.
Yes.
Which bothered me because it was like they literally live across from each other. Like, Lucy Liu is able to take a picture of Bruce Willis in the elevator. How does each side not notice that he's just going back and forth? Like he's physically walking back and forth.
I don't know. I mean, she takes a picture of him leaving the hotel because she goes over there because that was the last call that was made to the apartment that Josh Hartnett was living in.
But like he's not being sneaky is my point.
No.
And then goddamn, what happens? Josh Hartnett goes on a date with Lucy Liu to case the son. Mm-hmm. And then because the son is gay, he's going to seduce him.
Oh, yeah. The movie never lets us forget that fact.
No, it does not.
Yeah, they keep calling him the fairy.
They sure do. Mm-hmm. That wasn't great.
No, I mean, they had Hartnett push back against it at least.
Yeah.
But then then everybody else in the movie just keeps calling him the
But then everybody just keeps calling him that. And it's like, all right.
All right.
Fuck you, movie. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So then he kills the guy.
Eventually, he kills the guy.
Yeah, Brillis comes in and it's revealed, they're working together. They switch the body with the guy at the bus station, who is revealed to be the roommate or the friend of Josh Hartnett.
Who actually is Nick Fisher, who is the guy that they think Hartnett is.
They blow the place up.
They sure
and
do.
Leave. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I think the biggest event that happens next is Josh Hartnett kidnaps Ben Kingsley and Morgan Freeman.
Well, he kidnaps Ben Kingsley. Brillis goes to Morgan Freeman's house and kills all his thugs and kidnaps him. Right.
So they kidnap each of them. They put them in a room together. Josh Hartnett reveals, I was the boy in the beginning of the movie. And at this point, you're like, I know.
We know. I just need to know how exactly the rest of these dots connect at this point. That's like all that's what I was waiting for, yeah.
I just was like, they clearly killed his father.
Well, yeah.
Because what else would it be?
Yes, but I mean, like, how... Because you don't see who exactly. So it's like, well, they weren't the bosses back then. I want to know how exactly that connects.
Right.
How does Brillis come into this?
Yeah, and the reveal is that, Ben Kingsley and Morgan Freeman were like the thugs that killed the father. We haven't even talked about Stanley Tucci, which was that he is an FBI agent?
No, he's a detective.
Yeah. Who is following this as well. And they do this, again, real long Usual Suspects thing where they're flashing back. Bruce Willis was supposed to kill the child, and he didn't. And instead, they became like, mentor.
Yeah.
And
New dad.
New Bruce Willis dad. Mm-hmm. And so he's been like slowly playing this long game to get revenge.
Yeah.
And then he puts bags over their heads, and we get to watch Ben Kingsley and Morgan Freeman die. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see those two duke it out, honestly.
Yeah, but I admit that I think that was a good... that played out very... it's like,
not in terms of plot. Yeah. I just mean I want to see Ben Kingsley and Morgan Freeman have a fist
I definitely would have liked to see them just kick the shit out of each other all over this fancy office.
Yeah.
Fight each other with Morgan Freeman's gigantic chess set.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett to do like a Joker thing and like snap a pool cue in half.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where Ben Kingsley gives a fucking monologue, and I was like, what are you doing? You just got slammed on the head. You have a brain injury right now.
Yeah, that's probably why he's giving a monologue.
Yeah. So everything is very, no one ever changes their tone. Everybody kind of just always has something clever to say.
Kind of. After that monologue...
I wouldn't call it clever.
No, there's no real cleverness after this. Like, the monologue was weird, but it wasn't witty. It was like Ben Kingsley making his concession speech essentially to
Yes.
Morgan Freeman, because he sees that he's in Morgan Freeman's office. He just doesn't see that Morgan Freeman is also tied to a chair.
Right. But he doesn't seem like a man who's just been slammed on the head and kidnapped. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like he wasn't given that direction. Like, they filmed the scenes in the wrong order. And the fact that he just does this monologue calmly, it's just that thing again where it's like, I need these to be people. I need them to be humans. Mm-hmm. Like Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards. He has that energy, the monologue energy, certainly at the beginning. But by the end, he's screaming and having a swastika drawn on his forehead. Like, we see him kind of not dignified. We see him lose because he still feels like a character, at least. Maybe not like a human, because it's still like Tarantino dialogue. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean? Like, there's contrast.
Right.
And it just felt like there was never contrast in any of the scenes. Everybody seemed pretty calm about everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, no one had emotions. Josh Hartnett didn't really have emotions. Bruce Willis didn't really have emotions. Even Lucy Liu, like, when she gets fake shot, she sort of just goes, ow, afterwards.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, I think that could have helped this movie. But, yeah, so he kills them both. Bruce Willis shoots Lucy Liu because she saw his face. Mm-hmm. They get away, and then the reveal is that Lucy Liu faked her death because she was told by Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
There's this big explanation of Slevin.
Right, which is delivered. The delivery of it is to Stanley Tucci over the phone to this guy Murphy, who is played by Robert Forster in,
Yes.
I guess, the biggest Tarantino. We want this movie to be like Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
Because of course he was in Jackie Brown.
Yeah, I liked that detail in that sequence, although I had some questions. Because he basically, first of all, they didn't need to spell out that Slevin was the name of the horse.
No, but I kind of fell into it, like, just because I think Robert Forster is a good actor.
Right.
I mean, he's really selling it, and then it's cutting back to Stanley Tucci, who you're seeing is getting visibly more and more, like, kind of deflated by it.
Right.
And you're not entirely sure why until they reveal, like, oh, he was one of the other hitmen, and then Hartnett shoots him. Hartnett shoots him too.
Yeah, and they like set it up earlier, but he killed Hartnett's mom. Mm-hmm. And I guess this was why I was like, oh, okay, because I like the twist. I like that idea. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Stanley Tucci got specifically involved with Hartnett. I guess for Hartnett's plan to work, he didn't really need to be investigating him. That was just something that happened to occur.
Yeah.
But like the guy who killed his mom, it's just very anticlimactic that he just shoots him in the back of the head. I thought, like, considering that he gave Morgan Freeman and Ben Kingsley this big dramatic speech.
Yeah. Well,
it's just like it felt like he was like cleaning up the loose ends, but like the loose end killed his mom.
Right. It really
so it was like that.
I guess because he had just gotten all the information over the phone.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, he got the same monologue delivered to him by Robert Forster, so once he hears Robert Forster wrapping it up, he just sits up in the back seat and kills him.
Right. I could maybe see, like, what happened was he was going to kidnap Tooch. He was going to grab the Tooch, and then he gets the phone call, and he's like, well, it would be really awesome if I just come out like the boogeyman right
this
here
is
going
to save me a lot of time.
Yeah. And then the reveal is Lucy Liu is still alive. Mm-hmm. She has a bulletproof vest that I assume Slevin gave her.
He must have,
and puts a blood pack under her, which I guess is why they made her a coroner. Oh, like, I don't know why she was a coroner, but whatever.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis shot her thinking she was dead.
It serves the purpose of giving information to Slevin that he, of course, already knows because he was the one that killed the bookies, but she's in turn giving us the information that the two guys we see get killed earlier were bookies for the respective gangsters. So she was basically, the fact that she's a coroner served that purpose of delivering us, the audience, the narration, without us realizing that it was specifically for us. It looks like she's giving Slevin the information.
Yeah. And that's key, I think, for a lot of this. But yeah, Bruce Willis shows up at the airport or bus station, and he's like, you could have explained to me that you didn't want her to die. And he seems like real mopey, and then he leaves. And then there's a flashback to when he first took him, and they listen to the radio, and it's a relevant song. I forget.
The Kansas City Shuffle.
That's it.
They keep referring to that as their
thing.
plan. Yeah, it's like this is the Kansas City Shuffle, and it's just the trumped up fancy ass term for just a misdirect. It's a misdirect.
Yeah. And then the movie ends.
Yeah, and then the movie ends.
And it's fine. Like, again, I'm very, I don't know, I'm very torn up about it. You pointing out about the ending, you're right, is that the ending does stop, like, dicking around.
Right, like the last 30 minutes, I legitimately was like, oh, like I sat up. I was like, all right. Like, because I was about defeated by the first half of this movie. I was like, I cannot stand to hear one more sentence of this dialogue.
I suspect, because in true film school fashion, I assume they thought of the ending before they wrote the movie.
I'm sure they must have thought of the plot and like, okay, here's what the twist is going to be, here's what the reveal is going to be, and here's where we drop the key points of information. And then
problem.
Yeah.
It's nothing about the plot's clever. It's not, when you look at the big picture and stand back, like if you're pitching this movie, what's clever about it? Because the reveal, basically the plot is, we hear a story about a little kid who was killed and his family was killed at the beginning for no reason. Again, that story has no reason to be
just so
there.
we have it in our minds. Yeah, and I was thinking...
Yep. And then we watch a...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We watch a movie where someone is getting involved in all this stuff, and he seems like he's in over his head. And then the plot twist is, no, he's actually really good, and he was that kid at the beginning. Like, that's not really a clever twist. There's nothing clever about that. Especially since that story had no reason to be there.
So I was thinking, can you take that out, and does the film still work? Because would we accept the reveal that Hartnett's pretending to be this dude Nick Fisher's friend the entire movie, and he's pretending to be in this kind of wild predicament, and then is revealed, no, I'm actually one of the assassins, and then he has that same end scene where he's like, I'm going to explain to you why I'm killing you, and then it shows us the flashback as it does normally in the film. Would we have accepted that if they hadn't set it up in the beginning? Because I can see the complaint being, well, that's out of the blue.
Oh, no, it is out of the blue.
Yeah.
It's not clever in either way.
Yeah.
The answer is both doesn't work, I don't think. Because I think the writing here is very weak. Like, Lucy Liu's character, they make her a coroner.
Is bonkers.
Yeah, they make her a coroner, again, so they can explain it. It's all, every character doesn't feel like they're a real person. They're just there to serve this plot, this twist. And because of that, none of them make much sense. Lucy Liu is a coroner. It just suddenly gets revealed. Like, he literally says, like, oh, you didn't tell me you were a coroner. So it feels like they were, like, writing it as they go. And because
and I mean,
if she's a coroner, then she would be medical, right? She'd be medical-minded, scientific-minded.
Yes.
And that would inform her character. But she's, like, a weird manic pixie dream girl when we meet her.
Yes, she is.
She doesn't seem at all interested in being a coroner. It's like just her job. Like, she works at like a toll booth. You know, like, oh yeah, I'm just a coroner, and it's like, that's not like a side job. That's a big deal that would inform your personality, but you're not really a human being. No one's a human.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem, I think, because the people just sort of do what is needed to do to make the twist happen.
And movies do that all the time. It's just like she didn't
do it well.
No, she can be a coroner in the story. It's just like, you got to kind of smooth it over a little bit, like smooth those edges over.
It's like a first draft.
Yeah.
Where they needed to do a few more passes to make everything kind of smooth, because it feels like they were just doing function, where they're like, she needs to be a coroner so this scene can happen, and this scene needs to happen.
And obviously, function is, that's a vital part of every story, but it's like, man, you got to kind of make them weave together a little bit.
It has to feel like Because I think the problem is that you see everything coming because it's so like, oh, she's a coroner. Well, that's clearly going to mean something. Because they just drop it on you and they like force it on you and nothing feels like it fits smoothly. So you're seeing all the lines, you're seeing all the edges. Mm-hmm. You're like you can see the writing. You can see where they're trying to head because they telegraph it so much. Mm-hmm. Like that story, the biggest problem, which is that how do we get this idea in about this kid?
I think,
let's just have him tell the story at the beginning.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't relate to what he was talking about. It doesn't relate to why he killed the guy. Mm-hmm. It's just for us.
Yeah, I don't think you can do both in the same. I don't think you can have a secret revenge story and also have him secretly be seeking revenge in the same story, because then, like I was saying earlier, you drop the twist at the end and it's just like, well, that was out of the blue. So I think you can only have, we establish it at the beginning and then don't try to disguise who Josh Hartnett is, or you take the revenge element out of it and you just have him as this guy who is seemingly caught up in this wild thing, and then you reveal at the end it's like, oh no, this was all by design. He just did this so that he could get close enough to kill this person.
I think there's a third option.
What's the third option?
Sammy Jenkins. Is it Jenkins? Fucking
Memento.
Yeah. You tell a story and it feels like it has a purpose in the story. Mm-hmm. And then you forget about it. That's the problem, is that they were trying to do that. They're trying to like tell a story of like, but it didn't have any fit in that scene, and it was the first scene. Mm-hmm. So you're like, why did he tell that story? Nothing in the scene has made it clear why, and now we're at Josh Hartnett. That's what needed to happen, is you need to set up the story, but you need to somehow disassociate it with our main character so that you don't see it coming when the reveal is, oh, it's actually about that person.
Right.
I just looked up Sammy Jenkins. Is that Ned? That's not Ned, is it? Wait, who is this?
It's Stephen Tobolowsky, I think. Yeah.
Is that Ned?
Oh no, wait, no, it's not. It's
Hold on.
I can't remember now.
Let's dig into this.
Let's
make
dig into
this just what it's about. Yeah,
it is Stephen Tobolowsky.
That's Ned from fucking
it's Ned Ryerson.
Groundhog Day. Fuck, I didn't know that. That's real dark now. Poor Ned.
Yeah, poor Ned.
Ryerson. So he was experiencing. Hold on. So Ned was experiencing his own like Groundhog Day like issue, almost like forgetting
no, he never was. I remember that's the point of Memento. It was Guy Pearce.
No, but I mean this character, who played by Ned, is like in Memento has like a loop. He keeps forgetting, right?
Yes, he does keep forgetting. But like, you remember, we're talking about Memento now, but he never existed.
I know, but I mean the hypothetical character.
Okay.
Played by Ned.
Yes.
Had his own like Groundhog Day experience.
Yes.
Could Groundhog Day just be that he has a head injury and he's forgetting?
No, because he remembers.
Right, that's his problem. Sorry.
Goofus.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Ned. Anyway, but you know what I mean? Where
right, we just need one element to be. This sounds like fucking weird, but like of all things, Zombieland. Woody Harrelson keeps talking about how his dog got killed.
Yes.
And then so we're able to have the twist where it's like, well, he was never talking about his dog. He was talking about his son.
Right, and that's the key to a twist.
Yeah, well, you have to remove the character from it so you don't see it coming.
Yeah, you misdirect. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do a good job at this. They didn't do the work. It felt very film school. Because it was like they knew they wanted this twist, but they didn't know how to do the work to make the twist effective. So they just sort of shoehorned the story at the beginning, so you immediately are like, why did that happen? And it calls so much attention to it that you can't stop thinking about it, because you're like, why did he tell that story? It had nothing to do with, like, they really tried to shoehorn it like sweatily into why he's telling this guy at the bus station
this.
That's
why he wouldn't.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I guess you could.
You would have to. You would make it a story about, like, for example, you do. Okay, here's what I do. if I was making this.
If you were making Lucky Number Slevin, go.
If I was the writer of Lucky Number Slevin, I would set up a story explaining the rivalry between Ben Kingsley and Morgan Freeman as having like some bloody shootout or some amount of victims during that rivalry. Like I would do let's flash back to why do they hate each other? Because they do that. They're like, why do these two hate each other? They used to be the best of friends. And I would put in whatever motivation. You know what I mean? Like I would do like, oh, they had a beef and there was a shootout at a convenience store, at a diner, at a restaurant. And like in that scene, you show that like a waiter gets randomly shot in the head. And then you just reveal like, yeah, that was my dad. So he's in the scene. You don't think anything of it because it's just like, yeah, it's just violence. It's just shootout violence. And then the reveal is like, no, that person was somebody to somebody. And that was Josh Hartnett. You make a background character turn out to be the motivation in a flashback explaining the characters. That's how I would do it.
I mean, yeah, that's one way.
Yeah, it's a better way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not great, but we're just
talking here. We're just two guys talking.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, there's better ways of doing it than just having Bruce Willis
tell the audience drop this turd of a story for no reason. Just because, like you said, you immediately knew. Yeah, of course, I immediately knew the kid was him.
Yeah. And so when that's the case, you sort of know everything you're watching.
Or what you could have done is I don't know why he would tell it. You would still have to find a reason for him to tell it. But like you do that story, but you delete the kid from it. You just have the guy going to the races and betting his money, and then he gets killed, and then it cuts to the house, and you see somebody kick in the door and blow the mom away, and then that's the end of the story.
Yes, so here's what you do.
So the twist comes around, you reveal that there was more to that, where like the guy with the shotgun goes into the next room and sees there's a kid there, and then it turns around, oh, guy with shotgun is Brillis.
Here's what you do. Yeah, you make it seem like Bruce Willis is telling the story and he's the kid, Bruce Willis is the kid. Or like you said, that he's not involved in it, or the kid's not involved in it, and you just make it seem like it's a story that's going to set up something with Bruce Willis. And then the reveal is, it's not about Bruce Willis, it's about this guy he left out. Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah. No, it's taken us minutes to figure out better ways of doing this. And that's the problem with this movie, is that it's like playing a board game with a child where they're like changing the rules and moving everything around and like it just feels that way, where they're like these aren't people. They're just sort of being dragged from scene to scene doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
To orchestrate this twist, but they don't do enough work in the way it's shot. There's nothing clever about it. Like we said, they omit scenes when they choose to.
Yeah.
Involving what seems to be the main character. The moment he goes into that bathroom, and this didn't even relate to a twist. The moment he goes into that bathroom with the son, Ben Kingsley's son, they like fade away, and then he comes back, and Lucy Liu's like, so how'd it go? And I was like, wait, why didn't they just show me the scene?
Right, and then they flash back to like Tucci coming in there and having a conversation with us. So why are we flashing back? Just show this to us as it's happening.
Yeah, but it felt like the moment I saw that, I was like, this movie is trying to trick me. It's hiding things from me. It's not showing me everything. It's like another Bruce Willis movie, Perfect Stranger, where spoilers, Halle Berry is the killer in that. I'm sorry, everyone. Spoilers for Perfect Stranger. But the way the movie's shot is they have scenes where she's supposed to be the main character finding out who the killer is, and there's scenes where she's by herself and she's scared of the killer. And it's like, but you're the killer. So why are you acting like this? It felt like that. It felt like, oh, you're just there's no way to see this twist coming the way you're making it, and yet ironically it's very telegraphed at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess my point is that if you're gonna do it like that, do something with the plot that's like, I think they thought they were going to get a lot of chuckles out of the dialogue.
Yeah.
And since that wasn't funny for, like you said, for the first 2/3 at least, there's nothing it has to offer you.
It's a real struggle for a while.
And you're right. It does get more interesting at the end.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I don't know.
It needed a few more passes.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got Morgan Freeman and Ben Kingsley, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. What's going on here? Like, look at this cast.
How did that happen?
Fucking Corey Stoll is in it.
Why did the 2000s suck?
I don't know, but they were some real pieces of shit in that middle chunk of the 2000s, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It started strong. It started very strong. I mean, there was 9/11, but that wasn't movie related. I mean, movie-wise, it started strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just, 2004 hit, and we were like, all right, let's just coast until, I don't know, The Dark Knight?
Yeah, probably till 2008 when we got Iron Man and The Dark Knight. And
superheroes stepped in. They're like, look, there's nothing happening here.
Yeah, now is our time.
Yeah. Like, what do you got? Fucking Spy Kids movies and shit? What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, get that out of my face. You
I'm gonna
miserable
type in
bastards.
best movies of 2006. I just want to see. What they had to offer. Oof, man. Okay, it's not the worst, Tom. The Prestige came out in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
The Departed came out.
Mm-hmm.
Idiocracy, Children of Men. I think it's like popcorn movies was the problem because 300 came out that year, and I think that's, I don't know. I haven't watched that movie in a while, so maybe it's still good. Silent Hill's all right. Pursuit of Happiness, and Lucky Never's Slevin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
so,
right
up
there.
Man.
That's right up there.
There were some okay films, but it feels like the bads were way worse. I think that's what it is. Like, the bad films were really bad.
Yeah, like 2005, 2006, 2007 are some real wastelands.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, there's some real pieces of shit.
Deja Vu came out that year.
Sure. That sounds right. That sounds like the year that Deja Vu would have come out.
Yeah, Butterfly Effect 2.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, this all checks out.
Hollow Man 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah. It's the motto of 2006.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Here's a Miami Vice movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you.
That might have been 2005, now that I think about it.
Oh, who can say?
One of those black holes around that time.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not hurting anybody.
No.
This movie. Well, except for LGBT representation.
Some problem. And I suspect Michael T. Williamson's character is problematic.
Oh yeah, when I saw him, I was like, I don't know about this.
Right, he's a dumb guy with just huge teeth. It's like, all right,
seems weird.
Right.
It doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking when they were making this movie.
I don't know. It's trying to be cool. It's trying to be crime cool Tarantino.
Yeah.
He really poisoned the well of filmmakers for a while.
He really did. Because then why would you give someone fake teeth and make them act like a cartoon dummy?
Right. He's extremely cartoonish.
That's not in a Tarantino movie. That's the weird part is I think, and I guess this is one of those things where I've seen videos of backflips, right, Tom?
Yeah, sure.
And I know what a wicked cool backflip looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But if I tried to do one,
oh God,
it wouldn't be that.
No.
Even though I know what a wicked cool backflip looks like, I could never do it.
No, I don't possess that skill set.
I think that's how it is with, and you know what? I didn't even have to use backflips because I don't know about you. I have confidence in myself as a writer. But there are those moments where you're writing where you're like, why can't you just be fucking good? Why can't I just write it good? You know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, why can't I just put the words out that I know are there? I know there's a good way of doing this. Mm-hmm. And I guess that was what I was getting at with Tarantino. It's like you watch Tarantino, you're like, oh yeah, I see what he's doing. But then trying to replicate it, especially since he's already kind of replicating other things, it just can go very wrong and does very often. And I think this is an example of that.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just like you just
Well, it's
do something else.
Yeah, and I mean it's personally like 90s or when indie movies started to be like big hits, and it was like all the indie crime movies had to be just like fucking quirky or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is way past that though.
It's sort of. I mean,
no, it's never gotten away.
about a decade
gone away
removed,
fully.
but like.
And then I do think there's some usual suspects in here. They were trying to tell one of those. But it's just so weird to watch because then you watch those movies and you're like, no one does like silly characters in that, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just watch those movies, see what they did, look at your movie and notice what you did. Like you didn't do the things they did. If you're trying to be that movie.
You did it bad.
Yeah. Why did you do the weird like henchman who is dumb? It's just like why did you shouldn't have done that then? Mm-hmm. Why did you do these things?
Yeah, what the hell is your problem?
What did you think people were going to think about when the opening with Bruce Willis and he tells that story? Did you think we just forget about it? Like it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like it's that where it's like it feels very unself-aware, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I mean, I think we're done.
Okay.
I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
I felt like I had. It's probably nothing. It's probably something dumb. I probably had something dumb to say.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Some bullshit.
There's a high percentage.
Some absolute garbage.
Right, just some fucking vapid, useless piece of words that was going to come shooting out of your face, and nobody needs that.
This does make me want to watch Sexy Beast.
Oh, sure.
Which is like, isn't that? Oh no, that isn't mid 2000s. That's earlier. It's like
that's like late 90s.
It is not really.
I think so.
I think it's at least 2000s.
I feel like it was late 90s, but I mean,
I just googled it and accidentally wrote Sex Beast. And that explains my results. It was 2000.
Okay,
it was 2000. Okay.
Sex Beast.
Sex Beast.
Yeah, Sex Beast.
Because that feels like one of these movies, but good. Mm-hmm. I remember Sexy Beast being quite good.
Well, Kingsley got a fucking Oscar nom for it.
He did?
Yes.
Wow. Good on him.
Yeah.
He's great in that movie. Did you hear? He's really good in that movie?
I heard.
Now that I've said it, like it's official.
Mm-hmm. It's a fish.
Yeah.
It is fish.
Everybody check out Sexy Beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watch Sexy Beast.
And afterwards, I guess you could
maybe check out Sex Beast. I don't know.
Yeah, Google Sex Beast. Wow, the director of Sexy Beast. You know what else they did? I did not know this.
What's that?
Under the Skin.
Oh, there you go.
Those are two very different films.
People contain multitudes, Dave.
People can make things that are different from other things they make.
That's true, yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
That is correct.
It's like I'm stretching, but we've done.
We're done. I don't know what you're doing.
We're done. I'm just trying to hang out. I just want to hang out with my buddy Tom. All right. Ozzy, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if you like made this movie. I don't think you did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's I think Tom, you liked it slightly more than me. It sounds like
maybe, yeah. I enjoyed the last third.
Yeah, I think maybe because I had seen it already, I subconsciously knew. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, thank you, Ozzy. I guess I should tell you guys about our Patreon.
Tell them about the Patreon.
It's patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's how Ozzy did this. Through our Patreon, we have a tier where you can make us watch whatever you want, within reason. But mostly, pretty much anything you want. We don't give a shit. We also have some exclusive podcasts there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. So go there, check it out. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Would I lie about that?
No, you probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
We also do movie nights on Friday.
Yeah, we've been having some fun ass movie.
Yeah, we also do movie nights, so look into that. We also have a store, tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed, where you can get t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, masks, copies of Sexy Beast, whatever you're looking for.
Can we sell copies of Sexy Beast?
I don't think so, but we could sell shirts that have the poster of Sexy Beast on it, and that's also, I'm sure, not legal, but I'm going to say that that's a thing we can do.
Remember how there's those hologram shirts?
Yeah.
I'd love to get one of that of Ben Kingsley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care what he's doing. Could just be him moving slightly.
Yeah.
Like, not even enough for to really notice. Like, just moving a little bit so it looks haunted.
Yeah, just him eating
Ben Kingsley.
soup. Just eating some soup.
Guys, tweet at us if there's a movie where he eats soup.
Oh, there must be.